What's up, you guys? This is Chris Rukov for Hand of the Week. I hope you're doing well into the current conditions. A student of mine sent me 3 hands that we're gonna review today. I have not seen any of the hands so far, so you're gonna get my pure reaction, which sometimes is turned out to be wrong. And then by the end of this video, I basically change my opinion, kind of convince myself that actually what I thought at first was not as good as what I think now. But this is how poker is. That's why we do those reviews. So while we're on the table, we don't need to do one thing then change our opinions. We don't have that much time anyways in the beginning. We don't have that much time to begin with. On a table you maybe have 15 seconds, some tables maybe have 30. On a Zoom table, some sites you got 10. So you gotta be, very quick. That's why hand review is good. You can do it yourself after a session. It's my recommendation usually, or with a friend, or take participation in certain forums or in videos like this. Just send me the hands. My contacts are down below, and let's see what we have here. He wrote, unsure what to do when I have overpair on 3-bet pot after calling 3-bet out of position and calling flop and turn. Well, generally, in my opinion, I have not seen the hand, like I said, but from his description, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find a mistake maybe he made on flop on turn that led to the hard decision on the river. So I always advise my students, and if you're one of them, you would know how many times I repeat that every single time. Don't be smart, be wise. Don't be the smart guy who can solve the problem when it arises. Be the wise guy that plays the hand in a way that there is no problem to be solved. It's way easier, guys, trust me. Same in life. Hopefully we open. Alright, we open to 12. I would suggest bigger opening here, pot or 3 big blinds. Our range is small, and if you have taken my course, which the link's down below, I think we still have 30% off on the course with the code FIRST30. But yeah, go ahead, check it out. You'll see why I described there why we open wider, not wider, but why we open bigger sizing from the big blind and smaller sizing from the button. You're gonna see why in the course. I'm not gonna go into details now. We got a 3-bet. Now, first impression of this guy, he's not a full stack, obviously, so we should kind of know or think that he's not a reg. This is on PokerStars, if I'm not mistaken, so that means that auto top up is available. He does the sizing very accurately. That's a very good sizing. Tens are not into the code 3-bet. For my beginner's course, I do not give tens because when you play tens out of position, it's gonna lead to later on questions on what do we do in this spot, and most of the time when you don't know what to do, you're gonna make a mistake. Obviously, if you do know what to do, it's less likely you're gonna make a mistake. All right, we call. Now, it's important here to know, and for my student to notice and to pay attention to, why are we calling here? Are we calling to set mine? Are we calling that we're gonna call flop and turn? Because, if board comes certain way, do we know he doesn't have overpair? Do we know he doesn't have ace king? Now, basically here we kind of shooting into the blind. His range consists of, primarily aces, kings, queens, ace king, ace queen. So it's kind of a 50-50. Does he have overcards? Does he not have overcards? Also keep in mind, if we do flop a set and he does have, aces, kings, and queens, we're gonna stack him off. That's easy. The problem comes when he doesn't have aces, kings, and queens, and he has ace king or ace queen, which are 16 combos each, so that's 32 combos total. And aces, kings, and queens are total of 18 combos. So his range is heavily, or should I say heavier, on the overcards. If we flop a set, we're not going to be able to extract max value unless the board comes ace 10 x and he does have, ace king. Which in other turn means that if he has aces, it's going to be set over set, which we're going to lose all of our stack every single time. So with that said, I would advise you just to fold the tens on 5NL. And yes, I do know that some of you are going to jump that play higher stakes, going to be like, oh, you're crazy. Or just play them like deuces and just try to set mine. Understand from where I'm coming from. I'm trying to explain to the students how not to put themselves into situations that they're not ready to put themselves in. Start to crawl before you try to run, obviously. All right, so all in all, I'm gonna finish the hand here. I'm just gonna fold pre. It's very easy. Hit avoid. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced and you think that, oh, The fact that he's 3-betting under the gun means that he's gonna have, you know, ace king, ace queen, aces, kings, and queens heavy. Then we're gonna call with the tens. He's not gonna have as many bluffs, obviously. So if you thought that, that's great. But again, I don't know what you thought at this moment. And the board comes that, you know, some students of mine, they see a board like that and, you know, they check call. And then the turn comes a king, now they check fold because now they have the right excuse. They're like, oh, well, king came, so, you know, any overcard is used as an excuse. And if there's no overcard, it's like you don't think folding is a viable option. I think it was like a couple weeks ago, I played a hand on a private poker room online with friends, and board came 5 deuce, I think, and I bet the flop with 8s. Opponent raises. It was a friend of mine. I show and fold 8s, which is nothing wrong with that, and he showed pocket kings. Just because you have overpair, guys, does not mean that the opponent does not have a bigger overpair. So keep that in mind. We're gonna check here. He's gonna bet most likely. If you really want to know what he has, just raise to $1 and solve that problem. If you raise to $1 here and he calls, obviously he does not have ace king or ace queen. If he folds, he does have ace king, ace queen. Now we're gonna go deep down the rabbit hole that we're gonna say that, oh, I'm gonna let him bet with his ace king and ace queen if he's gonna bluff on the turn and on the river. I get that. At this point on those stakes, I advise you to play ABC, very simple poker, to avoid at any cost any how to put this, any possibility of having a situation to think about, and be smart. Okay, just don't do that. Just play the game in a way that you have no situations to think about. Be wise, do not have problems to solve. Now if you call here, the turn's gonna become $70, and what do? We check call again, and then what do we do on the river? We check call again. Just think about it. At some point you gotta take a stand and figure out what he has. He's not gonna be triple barreling ace king for the most part, at least this is my observation on 5NL. So let's take a turn. I mean, I'll wait for you to call because I highly doubt you raised. Yeah. And again, I repeat that to all of my students plenty of times. Current events tend to form future trends. If he's 3-betting a spree, we expect him to bet the flop. If he's 3-betting pre and betting the flop, we expect him to bet the turn. There is no indication that he's gonna slow down. Now, had he 3-bet the flop and had he 3-bet pre-flop and check the flop, that's a different story. Now I have an indication that, oh, he's slowing down. Maybe he missed the board. Maybe he got ace king, ace queen. Maybe he got aces that he slow played. That's also an option, but not very likely. But still, what do we do here? And if we call here, what are we doing on the river? Because the turn is a very pinnacle, pivotal, I think is the word, moment. The pot is sizable, and every time you call turn and you fold river, you're losing a lot of red line. For those of you who know about, you know, hold the major lines, you know what the red line is. This is the non-showdown winnings. So I definitely suggest here to make a decision. If I call here, I gotta call the river. If I call here and I'm gonna fold the river to a bet because we expect him to bet, I better just not even call here, so save myself $1. Also, if he bets the flop, bets the turn, do you think he has ace king or ace queen? Like, at some point you have to think on metagaming level 2. What does my opponent has? And I think here you only thought of level 1. What do I have? Yeah, and now that creates a problem on the river. But now you're looking at the fact that you have a full house, which does not change the fact that he still might have aces, kings, and queens. And I think he's very heavily there. Even the combos of ace king and ace queen are more pre-flop after the 3-bet. The flop, let's say he's gonna 3-bet. Worst case scenario for us, he's gonna c-bet, I mean not 3-bet. On the flop, he's gonna c-bet all of the ace kings and all of the ace queens, which I think it's a bit of a stretch. This is, I'm just putting it as the worst case scenario for us. Let's say he c-bets all of the ace king and ace queens, along with aces, kings, and queens, obviously. Do you think he's gonna c-bet 100% again on the turn? I don't think so. I think that if, a realistic example, if he has only, let me just illustrate here, I guess I'm just gonna load the poker strategy, quickly lap. Let's say he 3-bet you with that, just an example. Okay, so on the flop, realistically, he's c-betting jacks plus, and let's say half of ace queen and ace king. Just an example. It might not be, you know, extremely accurate. All right, so you got this. Well, on the turn, I'm thinking he's gonna give up with those. So turn c-bet, we're left with only hands that we lose against. So that's my advice will be, first of all, fold pre. You solve a lot of problems like that. Pocket tens is not into the ranges I give, and it's for a purpose. Once we get to 10 NL, or maybe actually, you know, more or less 16 and 25 NL and up, then we can talk about, you know, more expanded calling ranges, because now we know more situations, we are more range aware of range versus range, and so on and so forth. But for now, if you want to avoid traps like this, not traps, but hands like this that you don't know what to do and you like gear in front of headlights, just you know, fold it pre. It's very easy. I'm pretty sure you're gonna call here. There's no indication that you're gonna fold. Again, I'm looking at what you're doing. You called pre, you called flop, you called turn. I expect you to call the river. If you folded, good for you. But nice, wow, good. All right, well, at least you did not make the biggest mistake, because $2 is bigger mistake than any other mistakes that you made. I'm not actually sure if that was the correct sentence. I think a way bigger mistake is that you even called pre-flop. He 3-bets you pre, you fold, and you lose 12 cents. You don't need to go after, even if he has ace king. This is fine. And I know some of you is gonna jump and be like, this guy is so stupid, blah blah blah. Guys, I've beaten the micros like 2 times on video just for the sake of argument, because a lot of people are telling me micros are dead, you cannot beat them anymore, the rake is too big, blah blah blah. It is not true. It's beatable if you use the right strategy. Just because few IV, when you watch him on TV, makes plays with pocket tens, doesn't mean it's a good strategy on 2-0 or 5-0. I think there's other situations that we can make more money and focus our attention to, instead of playing a hand like that, get into a situation like this. Because had the flop been queen 5-5, you're check folding here because you have the excuse. But now, because you did not have the excuse, you're like, oh well, I cannot fold. It's like impossible. There's no fold button anymore. I gotta call. I gotta call here because it's not over card. And here, I don't know how you found the strength to call. Maybe on the river that both lit up, maybe, and you're like, oh, he does have aces, kings, or queens. Yeah, or jacks. You know, it might be with jacks too. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you folded the river, but we had like I think a session or two with you, and I gave you the ranges. It is very simple. Your life's going to be very easy if you just follow them. And I know you play a little bit of a different style. You're trying to play loose aggressive on 5-0. I do not think that will be, you know, something that you're going to be making money with. Or again, there's multiple ways to make money, but I don't think that's going to be the optimal way for you to make money. Let me put it this way. When you go to higher stakes, when you have more bankroll, because that's a high variance play, sure, play loose aggressive, but for now, stick to the ABC. So that's it for now. I think I'm way over 10 minutes or so. The hand was, you know, okay. I hope you guys send me more hands. Some of them are winning, I hope. Some of them will be losing. And I hope you just send me hands that are interesting and you have a question about the hand, not send me a hand just because you lost. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of Hand of the Week. Please smash the subscribe button and leave me a comment. That really helps the YouTube algorithms to show the content to more people, and I really appreciate it, guys. Good luck to all of you guys, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Or I'll talk to you next time. I don't think I really see you.